some of the content is not always, you can take it and apply it in our region. It has its own specifics. So it's very exciting for us to be able to build something that we know, we test, we research, and we prove. This is hopefully the vision that we have for the CXPA UAE network. The running order for today, as you can see, we have first we're going to have the welcome note by Greg. And then we will have Ian. Actually, Ian, I will not introduce you as you introduced yourself. I had here to introduce you, of course, you are the Ian Golding, the CX specialist, global CX specialist. But I wanted also to introduce you, and that's based on the day we spent together in the company. It's like your infinite passion. It's contagious, I think. And this is the inspirational bit that I think we'll all benefit from in the coming 1 hour and so among us. I'm sure it's going to be full of positive vibes for all of us. And then we will have 2 break room sessions. We have in mind 2 topics to discuss, but we'll introduce them when we have the time. And then we will also have Holly. I think Holly has already joined us, Holly Richardson. And Holly is the regional digital and CX lead for Unilever for Middle East, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Please tell me I got it right, Holly. Okay. Perfect. So without any further delays, let me just take you. I mean, my name is Rania. As you can see here, I am from Siddiqui Holding, a family business more than 70 years old. Have been working for a lot of years. And I'm from Lebanon. I've been in UAE for the last 15 years plus. And that's it for me. I think I'll give it to Aleksandar also, the next community leader, to introduce himself, and we'll take it in an alphabetical order. Alex.
Thank you, Rania, and hello, everyone. My name is Aleksandar. I'm a regional manager Middle East for Awards International. I've been with the company for 4 years now, but I moved to Dubai just at the beginning of this year. What a time to move, huh? So I've been involved with CXPA for 2 years now, and I mean, I still see myself as a very a new, young, and inexperienced CX professional, but I love learning. I love the community. There's so much to learn from, and especially now that I'm in the region, it's very helpful. And I really look forward to meeting every one of you and to creating this community better and bigger. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So, Anshul.
Thank you, Rania. Good evening, everyone. My name is Anshul Bahl. I am currently working with Kantar, a leading insights and advisory firm. Originally from India, I've been in the region for a little over 5 years now. I became a member of CXP almost 2 years back, and earlier this year, one of the positives was that I managed to crack my CCXP. I personally have had a very positive experience being a part of the CXP group, and it's lovely to see some familiar faces and some new ones today on the screen, and look forward to welcoming you all as part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Anshul. Marc, last but not least.
Yeah, no worries. So Marc Karschies, I'm Managing Director of KCA Consultants with CXPA since 2015, kind of like the early days when I started also to do my CCXP. Initially been involved just as a member, but over time, I got involved with more and more volunteering aspects and things with the community. So I hope this will also inspire you guys to do that. And there's so many opportunities out there. So I'm also an RTP. I'm a member of the International Advisory Board. I'm one of the SMEs in the recent peer-to-peer CXPA preparation community on CX strategy, a mentor in the Mentor Match program. But I mean, bottom line, the involvement in CXPA is that I learn a lot from other people, and I'm able to share with many people that are really like-minded and look for a structured and sound and independent framework that is not driven by commercial interest, that is not driven by individual opinions, but rather by sound structured networking, sound structured frameworks and research. So this is kind of like why why also I joined into this group, to bring this more into the UAE and allow everyone to join in and get better together in bringing CXPA and a strong foundation of our new profession, or a relatively new profession, into this region as well. So that's kind of like from my side.
Thank you, Mark. I just want to make a note that we are recording the session. Sorry, you can see it, I think, but just for you to note it. And I think now it's all for Greg to introduce the CXPA. You are on mute. Alex,
on mute.
Yes. Can you not unmute yourself? Oh.
Just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, should be good
I
now.
think,
I think that we're there.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's great to think that we're so many months into COVID and we're still just learning how to do all of these Zoom meetings. But hello, everyone. My name's Greg Mehlia. I'm the CEO of the Customer Experience Professionals Association. Congratulations on the establishment of the UAE CXPA network. I'm glad to see this group emerge, and I want to say a few words about the occasion. I know from speaking with Aleksandar, Rania, Anshul, Marc, Farhan, and also what Ian and I have discussed, that there's a really strong commitment across the Middle East and in the UAE in particular for customer experience. And at CXPA, we've shared that passion for over 9 years. As the oldest global organization for the advancement of customer experience and customer experience professionals, we've worked to remain an independent voice that is concerned about you and your goals and your professional development. We're the sponsor of the Certified Customer Experience Professional Certification, which is the global mark of those who are prepared to lead customer experience in their organizations. The UAE CXPA network brings all of these resources and connections to you in a community that's uniquely focused on the needs of the UAE, your needs, your network, your career. As Rania said in her comments, this allows you to get both the benefit of the global community and also that local aspect, that local lens, that local networking, that local research. You have a great leadership team in place. They're recognized leaders in UAE companies, as well as the UAE-based CXPA recognized training provider and the local lead of CXPA's global partner in advancing CX in Awards International. But most of all, you have one another. You have one another to support your careers, to support your triumphs, to celebrate your accomplishments, to help one another advance in your careers, and to be there for one another, because we know that being a CX professional is a challenge as well. There are moments that you feel like you're pushing that Sisyphus boulder up the hill, and you can be there to support one another. Since this is a special occasion, I'd like to give what is a bit of a historic contribution. Last month, the CXPA Board of Directors reflected on the fact that while we talk about CX professionals a lot, there has not been a consensus definition for CX professional. So we set about to correct that. We listened to voices from across the pond as well as in the US. We brought together both staff and the Board of Directors, and we looked at different terminology that is used out there. So I'm pleased to share with you that to make the UAE network the first group with whom we're sharing our consensus definition of a CX professional. And I hope as you hear these words, you'll think about yourself and you'll think about the full potential of who you can be. A CX professional is a catalyst who enhances an organization's results by understanding, designing, and improving experiences across the entire customer relationship. So much as you can relate, we are people who come into a system and drive change. We make things better by focusing on our customers and working to create a better journey for them from start to finish, and do that in conjunction with our peers. So thank you for being here today. I'll share that definition in the chat so that you have that, and congratulations on the launch of the UAE CXPA network.
Thank you very much, Greg. Well, I tried to take notes for it, and Actually, on that point, I like what Jean Bliss called the human duct tape as well. I think this sometimes at work, I feel like the duct is not working anymore. I need a stronger glue or something. So thank you very much. And I think now, Ian, please join us.
Thank you so much, Rania, and thank you, Greg. It's great to hear from you on a Monday at the beginning of what's going to be quite a special week for us. But I'm sure we will hear your voice many more times over the next 48 hours or so. And thank you to all of you. Firstly, thank you so much to Rania, to Marc, to Anshul, to Aleksandar for having the courage, the commitment, the energy to pull this group together. That it's so difficult to give up time when we're so busy anyway. There's so many things going on, but to bring these groups together is what the CXPA is all about. And Marc made me feel very old, actually, by saying that he first got involved in 2015. Very old because I first got involved in 2010, before the CXPA even came into being, which I have to acknowledge I was probably only about 12 years old at the time. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. And over the last 10 years, so much has changed. So much has changed in the environment that we work in the economies that we work within, and now in this remarkably challenging time that we find ourselves in. But one thing that hasn't changed is the commitment, passion, desire of customer experience professionals to do whatever is necessary to help organizations understand that by focusing on people, customers, colleagues, shareholders, we are able to help those organizations deliver better, more sustainable results. And that is needed more now than ever before. And very often over the last 10 years or so, people have said to me, you know, does a company need to be in trouble for you to come and help them, Ian? And the answer to that is no. But no organization in theory needs to be in trouble to have one of us come and guide them and support them. But it is sadly common for there to need to be a burning platform before suddenly there's a realization that something needs to change. And I've always believed throughout my entire working life that things happen for a reason. And I'm sure I've said that to many of you in our interactions over the last few years. Things do happen for a reason. And this year is one that we'll never, ever forget. Of that, there is no doubt. But a lot of what has happened already this year, and that will continue to happen, is an opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for our profession to move even further forward, to advance in a way that we may never have advanced before. Because we've been through already such a dramatic change of emotion in such a short period of time that many of us have finally seen people that we work with stop and reflect. What I find fascinating about the last 7 or 8 months is how people have transitioned from panic to fear to anger to desperation. And there are still people that are completely fearful about the future. No idea where this is going. No idea where this is going to end. But for the first time, I'm starting to see people who are in that situation ask others how they're feeling. I'm starting to see people empathize in a way that I've never seen before. I'm starting to see people and organizations do things that are not primarily about making money, doing things because it's the right thing to do, rather than because we must deliver a return to the shareholder as quickly as possible. Now, when I say I've seen this, have I seen this with every organization I've interacted with? No. Have I seen this with the majority of people that I've interacted with? No. But as far as I'm concerned, if the situation that we're currently living through has changed the mindset of even 1% of people who lead organizations, then from an economic business perspective, maybe this has been worth it. Maybe this has been worth it to allow people to stop, reflect, and think differently. What's fascinating is that we've seen organizations enable change almost instantly. Change that in the past, bureaucracy has prevented them from doing so. I've been working with an energy company who for years have battled with their compliance teams to get people to work from home. Lockdown came, they had the whole company working from home in 3 days. What this pandemic is proving is that we can do anything if we want to. Nothing can stop an organization from doing what it wants to do. The only thing that can prevent us from doing the right thing is what's in here. But what we've got to remind ourselves is that doing the right thing is hard. And many customer experience professionals bash their heads against a brick wall because we're trying to do what's right for people. And in the short term, that may not deliver a financial return to the organization. And that is a constant battle. It's a balance that we're trying to manage very carefully. But in this current situation, we have got to remind the organizations we work with and in that this is not over. In fact, we have a very, very long way to go before we can see even a sense of normality coming back. There are still people, as I say, who cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel because there isn't one. We don't know when this is going to be over. And that means that the importance of empathy, the importance of thinking is even more critical right now than it was before the pandemic. It's even more critical right now than it was at the beginning of the pandemic. Because we have sent people home to work from home. But very often these people don't have a good working environment at home. They don't have a desk with a comfortable chair. They've got children running around them. They may have other family members or people they live with who make lots of noise and use the Wi-Fi and don't make it a comfortable working environment. There are many people who are isolated or feel isolated. They're used to being surrounded by people, working together. And, you know, yes, we can talk to each other through a screen, but it's not the same as that physical face-to-face interaction. And we cannot forget that. And the thing that I've seen more than anything else that concerns me during these 7 months is not customer experience, but it is the way organizations are focusing on the employee experience. Or I say focusing on the employee experience, maybe I should say failing to focus on the employee experience. Because in all of this mad panic to sustain businesses, sustain organizations, not enough are asking themselves, are we treating our people in the way we want our people to treat our customers? And sadly, I have had far too many conversations with people who are so demotivated, so cut off, so isolated that they are at their wits' ends. This has to change. And one of the benefits that we have is that, yes, we call ourselves customer experience professionals, but as customer experience professionals, we understand the importance of experience management in general, not just customers, but employees as well. And so it's really important that we are able to show organizations we work with that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But the only way we're going to get there is if we focus on our people, we make them feel comforted, cared for, supported, empathized with, because they are working harder than ever before to try and make our customers feel that way. And so it's really, really important that the employee feels that way too. Our profession is more important now than it's ever been. So, no, it will never be finished. There will never be enough of us. We have got to keep going, keep doing what we do, keep preaching, keep evangelizing, keep sharing the knowledge, keep encouraging science that sits behind customer experience. And what's wonderful about the Gulf region is that there are so many of with the understanding of the science, but we've got to keep sharing it. We've got to keep shouting, and we can't stop however hard it is. And we know it's hard. We know that there right now are times where people don't want to listen. They don't want to pay for us to talk to them or work with them.
I think we are.
But you've got a key as far as I'm concerned. Because for me personally, sorry, Rania.
Sorry, Ian. At some point, that was a I lost the signal. I think everyone, right?
Yeah, we were losing you.
So
for,
if you can just repeat
bit.
the last sentence, please. No problem.
I shall do. Sorry, thank you. So this is the problem with digital technology. It's unpredictable. I was about to say, or I was starting to say, that in summary, this is why this community is so important. For me, the CXPA, when I became independent 8.5, 9 years ago, the CXPA became my work family, and it has grown. My family gets bigger every year. And it's when times are tough that we need our family to support us, to put our arms around us, to share, guide, counsel. This is a very lonely job at times, but you're not alone. As we can see today, there are so many people who feel the same way as you. And I hope that, I know many of you know each other anyway, but I hope that your connections become even stronger, your bonds become even more difficult to break, and that in the nearness of time, we will all be able to meet up again face to face, because this community is so vitally important. And I hope that you really do meet as often as you can to ensure that customer experience continues to grow from strength to strength in the region. Whilst I'm talking to you from a rainy, gloomy England, a little bit of my heart is with you out there in Dubai. And I do very much hope that maybe earlier in 2021, I might be able to get out and see you all again. So thank you so much for asking me to be part of this very important day. Yeah, I very much hope to see all of you very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well, Ian. Thank you very much. And I think your point about the focus on the human experience, I would say, is really now what is needed, 100%. And I think this, for all of us, this was a test for companies to live their values and to prove that actions are much louder than words and fancy posters and all of that. So it was a test, actually, a very big test for companies. Yes, indeed. The next point now is that we're gonna break into 2 breakout rooms, and we will have one general, it's the main session, will remain here. So Alex is going to split us into 2 sessions. One session, the title is NPS the right metric? And we're gonna have a heated discussion about that. Or the next session is going to be CX, the money game. And that's another topic. So it's going to be a random split. If you don't feel like you would like to stay in the session, on the room that you're gonna be, you can just hit on the leave breakout room. Please don't mix it with the leave meeting. In case you do, just you can re-click on the Zoom link and Alex will take you back. So please be ready for the split.
To this. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Brilliant. I think everyone is joining back in here and to the main room. Welcome back. Hope you guys had like a great discussions.
Sorry, Ali, you were speaking.
Thank you, Marc.
So no worries. So Rania, probably back to you. I think we have most of the people joining back in.
Yes, yes. Let me see. Okay, I'm checking. Holly, you are still with us. So I can do the introduction.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone had a good time in the breakout rooms. We don't know what happened with you guys. We had an interesting discussion and we were promised by Ian that he's going to share with us more updates after the customer experience awards. So Aleksandar, he's going to reach you to share with us more updates because Fred is going to be a speaker.
We had something similar. We had some discussions and we finally have Greg in alignment that yes, this whole touchy topic about ROI and CX needs to be worked on, and let's have something from CXP as a community to make our individual lives easier, convincing our clients on the benefits.
Excellent. So we have a milestone for today. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce Holly and ask her to share with us some of the amazing achievements. And congratulations, you have been nominated recently as top leader in CX. So congratulations. And
thank you.
Please share with us. Sure.
Thanks. Can you hear me now? I've unmuted myself.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. And thank you guys for inviting me to talk and to share, I guess, my CX transformation story. We're still at the very beginning of our journey, but yeah, it's been a good journey so far. And I'd also like to share with you how COVID has also impacted our customer experience transformation as well. So just to give a little bit of context first, I need to explain that customer experience management as a function did not officially exist at Unilever until this year. I basically created it because I wanted to put customer experience on the map out of pure passion for making an honest and positive impact on our customers and colleagues. So basically what started as a passion project in the UAE 2 years ago has now become part of the overall company's UFS, Unilever Food Solutions, purpose and change management agenda. So I joined Unilever Food Solutions 5 years ago as their regional digital marketing transformation leader. And I was assigned with bringing 5 times more customers to the business and increasing operational efficiency through digital channels across 15 countries. And with each passing year, we made some good progress towards these objectives. However, the overall impact of our digital transformation was very ad hoc. And there was a lot of standalone initiatives happening at the same time with no silver thread, as you would say, tying all of these initiatives together under a common narrative that the whole company could get excited about and deliver in their role. The only narrative that we had at Unilever Food Solutions around digital transformation was very inside out and quite mechanical, mostly based around what the business cares about, which is to sell more, sell faster. So, you know, I read a lot around the areas of digital marketing and digital transformation, and I kept coming across these really interesting articles around customer experience management. So I was really curious to learn more about it. So I took a course on it. This was like 2.5 years ago. And it was actually Ian Golding's course back in London. I was there for a trip to see my in-laws, and I took a 2-day course, and it was serendipitous. Immediately, it was crystal clear that this was the missing link in our digital transformation program. So I went back and I introduced the concept of customer experience management to the business in 2018. I started applying the advice that Ian gave in his class and his book. I started off by winning over strategic stakeholders that hold a lot of influence in the business. So here's what Ian calls borrowed influence. And it really worked, because at that time, I didn't have the required influence to influence the board, basically. So with this borrowed influence, it moved me very fast. And in parallel, I was able to start a grassroots movement with functional executives on the ground. Basically, it kept telling them about how customers really matter, what customers think really matters, and how we really need to identify and manage the moments of truth, and how employees are instrumental in developing and delivering the experience. And this really spoke to people, because we didn't speak in this kind of language before. And it really made sense, and it got people really excited. So again, this borrowed influence from influential stakeholders and my grassroots army of CX change agents were really key for me to gain traction in the program. And one of the first changes I made was to the language that we use in the business around digital transformation. Because again, all of our goals and frameworks and terminology were very mechanical and sales driven, which didn't really help to get the entire organization excited to deliver great experience for our customers. So I wanted our teams to think in terms of experiences rather than just products and tasks. So shifting our narrative was the first step towards this goal. So again, working with these key influential stakeholders and my CX change agents, we reframed the narrative in a very Simon Sinek fashion, to be much more around the positive impact we wish to deliver for our customers, and as a result, drive sustainable increased sales. So our goal, therefore, switched. It was still the same, but it was a much better narrative. Our goal became to leave our customers feeling supported, inspired, and progressed, and by doing so, earn the right to 5 times customer-driven growth. And I worked closely with our global brand management team to revise our brand strategy while simultaneously working with the cross-functional team globally and locally to define our CX strategy, because we didn't have one at the time. And that whole process took a whole year. But again, my goal here was to ensure that our company purpose and what we say as a brand in all of our external communications, as well as what we do as a company, were perfectly aligned, so that we walk the talk on brand promise. And this isn't just for external impressions. When there is a clear and compelling purpose, work has inherent meaning, driving a whole new level of commitment and innovation and contribution. So we formalized our objectives through defining, for the very first time at Unilever worldwide, a customer experience strategy that describes the intended customer experience in very explicit terms, so that everyone in the business has the same understanding of what this experience should be. Because before we would say, deliver great experiences, and we would say that as an afterthought, but what does that mean, really, deliver great experiences? What does that mean for our business and our customers? So we had to get a lot more specific. And we also ensured that the strategy was aligned to the overall company strategy, as well as our brand attributes, so that there is that silver thread connecting all initiatives under one common theme. So again, our business strategy was now connected to our customer strategy, and now they were both aligned to our brand attributes and overall purpose. So everything was tied together and connected. And then it was about the next step of tying our people to our strategy and sharing it amongst the entire organization. So we did this through holding employee hero workshops, which is another tool that I learned from Ian, formal and informal reward structures around customer centricity. We changed our external communication and imagery to reflect our brand promises. And these are just a few of the many, many things that we did last year to connect our people to our CX strategy. And then COVID happens. So we like to call this the Great Reset. And my company, Unilever Food Solutions, is a food service company. So if you think about who our customers are, these are restaurants and hotels, airlines and catering companies. So it's been quite a challenging time for both our customers and ourselves to try to adapt and evolve and prepare for a better new normal. And during COVID-19, our purpose and our CX strategy played a leading role in supporting our customers. And this is where I became super proud to be working for a company like Unilever, because we really are a purpose-driven company, and we did galvanize behind our customer promises of support, inspire, and progress. Because more than ever, our customers needed to feel supported, inspired, and progress in order for them to survive and transform. From an employee or internal perspective, obviously the first things we had to do was to shift overnight into a completely digital work from home environment and to safeguard our workers. Luckily, Unilever was already more or less set up for this in terms we already had, sorry, my kids are coming home, it's dinner time. Anyway, we already had flexible, agile working practices. So this wasn't such a big shift for us. But the biggest shift or the biggest disruption was from our sales force, who spend 80% of their time on the road speaking to customers face to face. Obviously, they couldn't do this any longer. So from a customer perspective, the first thing we did was activate our sales force to find out what our customers needed most during this time of crisis, as well as engage with our partner ecosystem about the same thing. And based on what we learned from the feedback from them, we built and deployed a range of services to our customers, for our customers, completely free of charge with no sales push. So we launched a resource center to help our customers navigate COVID-19 around the key topics that they told us that they needed most, which was food safety, hygiene, food delivery, profit protection, and so forth. We also launched a social movement in 5 countries to raise awareness amongst diners of the importance of ordering takeout and delivery in order to save the restaurant business. And we also launched a free online service for restaurants to list their menus for delivery, thus avoiding the margin corrosive fees of the established delivery aggregators like Uber Eats and Zomato. We also pivoted our business because before we were only offering food products, but we've now pivoted to offer hygiene products to our customers as well. And these are just a few of the things that we did. And it really made me proud to see us really forget, the sales talk and go straight to our purpose and serving our customers. And we also didn't even just stop at customers. Given that employees are crucial to delivering our purpose, we also focused our energy on employee health, both physical and mental. There were bi-weekly virtual fitness classes, huge upskilling program that was gamified with rewards and incentives, regular check-ins from senior leaders with full transparency on communications. And even now they've just implemented meeting holidays. Meeting holidays meaning they recognize that now, because we're all working from home, our diaries are completely filled with back-to-back meetings all the time. So now they've instituted meeting holidays for us, where we have full days where we're not allowed to have meetings put in our diaries, so that we can actually think and reflect and make good decisions. Because if you're in back-to-back meetings all the time, you have no time to make good decisions. So here we lived our customer promises of support, inspire, and progress internally to our internal customers who are our employees. And that also made me really, really proud. And in terms of transformation, the pandemic not only accelerated our digital transformation, but it accelerated our customer experience transformation as well. It forced us to think, how can we create possibilities from our problems? From a CX perspective, it brought living our purpose and listening to the customer much more at the forefront. Supporting, inspiring, and helping our customers has become even more important. And everyone in the company, as I said, has gotten behind it. And it also really helped our digital transformation, because prior to COVID-19, digital transformation for us was going quite slowly. because you can only go as fast as your customers are willing to go. You can't force them down a 100% digital journey if they're simply not ready to go down that route. But COVID and the environment that COVID has brought has made them accelerate their own digital adoption. Our customers, restaurants, have had to learn digital marketing for themselves. They've had to learn delivery and contactless services. And same with our distributors, because we don't sell directly to customers. We sell through distributors, and they historically have not been very digitally savvy at all. So COVID has forced them to step up their e-com platforms. And this has been really good for the entire industry to progress. But yeah, it's been the beauty of the great reset of COVID-19. Because again, everyone has had to rethink about how they can better serve their customers in this new environment. And it's reminded us to go back to the basics, which is to understand your customers' goals. Have they changed? If so, how? Has their end-to-end journey changed? If so, how? And how can we solve customer problems going forward? Because the sooner we can do these things, the better everyone will be. So again, it's been an absolute pleasure sharing my story with you guys. I hope you found it inspiring and useful. And thank you again for inviting me to share my story.
Thank you very much, Holly. It's definitely inspiring. And I can see we have a question from Alex. Alex, would you like to read the question?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening from the beginning I mean, the quick transformation and adaptation, both toward the customers and the employees. And I understand the pandemic has forced it, but I mean, Unilever is not a small organization. So what do you think was the biggest factor that influenced like a fast adaptation and transformation? Yeah, try now.
I'm trying, okay. I was trying to unmute. Yeah, COVID. I mean, like what Ian said earlier, like before our digital transformation and customer experience transformation journey had a 3-year time horizon, and then COVID hit, and it forces you to like change your mentality, what's possible, what's not possible. And that really, it is the biggest influencer of digital transformation. You know that, have you seen that funny cartoon where you ask who was the biggest catalyst for digital transformation? And they'll say, oh, it's your CTO or your CXO. No, it was COVID. And it really helped. And thank God we had launched our CX strategy, just like we had just started to launch it, or just officially launched it when COVID hit. And it really helped everyone to understand what they needed to do and act, go in the right direction. Yeah.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks, Holly. If anyone would like to pose any question, maybe we have 1 or 2 questions before we wrap up the day. So Rahila is saying that COVID was an opportunity. Okay, I have a question actually, Holly, if no one else has a question. I wanted to know how much of synergy was between you and HR during this kind of COVID situation, and what is the CX bit versus the HR department bit when you had to do these efforts? Okay.
Oh, there we go. I'm unmuting now. Yeah, so the HR, that's been an interesting journey, to be quite honest. And we're only at the beginning of that journey, because our HR department they service most of Unilever, not just UFS. And UFS is Unilever Food Solutions. And that's the part of the business that I look at. It's a B2B side. So this is where CX is the most relevant, because we rely on people and personal connections. And our HR department looks after all of retail, not just UFS. So, but now it's well, it's really good because we've put our customer promises on the map. And with my Bahl influence, I was able to change their criteria in how they hire, what kind of attributes they look for in the new people that they hire. And also they're now including this in the change management agenda for next year. There's going to be a whole section on customer experience management, what it is, why it's important, and also as part of what we did last year, which helped me infiltrate with the HR department, was we launched behaviors. We explicitly listed the behaviors that we want our employees to exhibit to live our brand promises or to deliver our customer promises, kind of like the that hotel example in the UK. What's that famous one? Forgot the name, but there's a famous hotel.
Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly, the Ritz-Carlton framework, exactly. So we finalized those and we shared them widely, and now the HR team are using that as part of their hiring practices and change management program.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else would like to have any question before we wrap up the day? Okay, I think that's it. I can see there's no question in the chat. So thank you, everyone. We'd like to ask you please to fill in a survey. It's not about only satisfaction with the event. It's about what you would like to see and what are your expectations from this network, so that we really keep the momentum going and we make relevant choices for everyone to benefit. We want to have a give and take relationship, so we all feel happy with being part of the CXPA UAE network. Thank you all from UAE, from other parts of the world. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the community. Lovely having you all.
Thanks a lot, guys. All the very best.
Bye-bye.
Bye.